My reality defined.
Well, alright, now we're going to go back to the fact that now as that pineal gland is actually picking up all the information that has been focused on by the base of the pyramid, the base of the actual eyes, having formed the angle, and boom, right there. Focal point, bam, goes back into the pineal gland, creates and stirs all kind of information going on in here, and allows us to actually be able to navigate through this. And that's basically that's really how reality is formed. Scientists they have coined all of these different terms and said, oh yeah, well, you have light, you have sound, and then you got the things that you feel and touch and sensory. But ultimately, all of those things are under the umbrella of light, because light is the God consciousness. Okay, and what light does is light comes in basically in three different ways, and it manifests itself in three different ways, or three different. It's broken down by our bodies. I should say that. Transformed, whatever you want to call it. You can call our bodies basically a transformer. I think Bruce Lipton was talking about this, saying that the actual brain and the body is the actual skin, and how the brain really takes in all this etheric information and processes it. It takes in all this etheric information, sends it to what we're calling the brain, or the organ, whatever you want to call it, that we now call the brain. And that organ takes that information and disseminates it out to different parts of the body to create the different functions that we participate in. I can actually kind of coincide with that, because that's why the skin is so important. That's why this exterior body is so important to us, because it dictates the kind of individual that we are. This external being, this external body, shows our true purpose and shows whether or not we actually know what we're doing here, or are we just not even navigating through, but just being moved by the fact that, okay, the iPod is here, and there's music here, and the video's over there. Are we causing ourselves to move, or are we being moved by the circumstances that are being created by all of these other individuals who, for the most part, and not all of them, but just a small few, actually know how to build up the perfect character, or know about constructing the temple up here, because they know about the importance of what is brought back into here. And so that's why you have words like entertainment, because when you define entertainment, it means to distract. Now, if I'm trying to distract someone, what am I trying to pull their attention away from?
Of a perpetual system of hate-mongering, domineering, dictative, authoritative world with a policy, the devil's tribesmen, United Nations.
What am I trying to distract them from? The purpose of entertainment really is to bring you back, or I'm sorry, not bring you back, but bring you away from what it is that you're actually meant and set out to do as a being brought here to this planet. So you might say to yourself, well, alright, I traveled through the houses, 9 different houses, and this is the whole zodiac, and upon traveling through these 9 different houses, you manifest into this being, and in this being that you have grown to become, you've learned to create for yourself a particular reality. Okay. However, the important part of this reality that you have created is that it is based on a function. Okay, and this function has been determined by the powers that be. Okay, because another thing that they don't really tell us about this reality is that we're building this.
Stretch out my eyes and let me find my own truth.
We are the master builders, the constructors of the reality that we either hate or love. So, when someone says, well, why does the European have all of this, and why do the quote-unquote Moors or Asiatic persons not have, or the descendants thereof, have nothing? It is not because of what the European has participated in, or is participating in, or is actually putting the Asiatic through. It is a result of what the Asiatic or the natural being or the conscious being has accepted. So if we accept ourselves as being less than or not worthy of a particular lifestyle or of a particular knowledge, then we will avoid at all costs that knowledge. So a lot of times you have brothers and sisters, and I mean, we all have played that part before, but we've all teased another person for actually being a nerd or being too intelligible, and it's these little things right here that are actually causing us to actually have the problems that we have. The fact that we can actually take the time to laugh at someone or make light of someone willing to invest in themselves to actually suck up all this information shows that we ourselves have been given a certain psychosis. Okay, I mean, how can you pick at someone for actually wanting to better themselves by way of taking in information that's important, that they have deemed important to their being?
No more dreams, feed me reality by the fistful. Words in my perfect picture, sodomize my virgin outlook. Scratch my eyes out and let me feel my way to freedom. Damn you old brain teasers, mind squeezers.
Okay, and it's important that we look at such activity as being the actual downfall to, or the actual, or the main reason why we are in the position that we're in. The fact is that many of us try to say, oh, well, politics, you know, it was said a long time ago that Negroes, blacks, and colors, or NBCs, should stay out of politics. And that same attitude has stayed around. The fact that we went 40 years without reading, or being able to read, for a time being, during this, the 1900s. This is an issue. This is an issue. 40 years of not reading or being lynched for reading, on someone telling you you're not supposed to read. I don't know if you all consider just how long 40 years is. While it may not be a long time, however, because of the way that Asiatics or Moors descendants reproduce, 3 and 4 generations are actually being created within 40 years. So if you have 3 and 4 generations who were forced not to read, taught not to read, and then all of a sudden that last generation is actually being able to read or promoting reading, imagine what has been lost in all that time and not reading. Imagine what has been taken away from you. You know, there's a reason why someone was telling you that you had no business reading. Okay, and it had nothing to do with the fact that you were black. It had to do with the fact that what would moral parasites, makers of causes and political prisoning, corona, the body snatchers, the hope snatchers, deceiving the mind of the already disease catchers. No more dreams, no more dreams. Been read. Okay, this is important here because this is where you go the switching of histories. All right, this is how you get this kind of things, because of the fact that you had a group of people who were written about all over the planet being told in one particular place not to read, or that they couldn't read or weren't allowed to read. Okay, this is suggesting of someone that has an agenda. If I'm telling you I don't want you to read for 40 years straight, then all of a sudden I'm throwing reading, I'm throwing you in schools, I'm begging you to go to school, giving you money to go to school. Okay, there's a problem here, especially when a great majority of the planet doesn't even have history that coincides with what they're trying to now encourage you to read or encourage you to take in and digest. The rest of the world has never heard of a Negro. Not as a person. As a color, yes, but not as a person. Has never heard of a colored. Okay? A black. These were not terms that you used to refer to people. They hadn't even heard of white. Okay? Yellow, brown, red, all of these different colors that we're using to describe real, alive, flesh and blood people. Okay? But again, this is a part of a system that actually wants you to build up their reality for them. And we've done that. And so, and since we've done that, as the people of, or calling ourselves people of color, or referring to ourselves as people of color, or minorities, yellow, black, brown, red, blue, whatever color we're calling ourselves, and taking on those identities, we are actually creating a reality. And by creating that reality, we're accepting whatever it is that reality has to
When I
offer.
grow up, make me one of those people, perpetuators of a perpetual system of hate mongering, domineering, dictator, authoritative world bully policy, the devil's tribesmen, United Nations, headers of the World League of Humanitarian.
In regards to having that particular status. So if I have the status of a Negro, black, or color, Hispanic, Latino, consider how that status was brought about. Okay? Remember the bull papples? Alright? These types of manuscripts that were fostered by, Europeans, sociologists, anthropologists, they're biblical scholars, religious scholars, and everything like that, inquisitionists, really, all of them, really just inquisitionists, who basically took the native people all around the planet and just started casting them into these categories. And by way of education / indoctrination, they've gotten these people to actually accept these categories. Okay? And so since we accept these categories now, we have no choice but to accept whatever the brunt or whatever comes along with having this particular name as a black, a Latino, or a Hispanic. You have to consider, if you're willing to call yourself the color black, people are going to treat you like the way that the world sees black, and vice versa. If you're calling yourself white, people are going to treat you like the way that the world sees white. White is considered the landlord, lord of the land, godlike. Okay, black is considered less than, darkness. Okay, yes, it's considered the place where everything comes from, but it's also considered it's also equated to the bottomless pit, less than, dirt. Okay. So it's one of those things where if they're saying that black means devoid of light, then that means you're devoid of godliness, you're devoid of actually landlord rights, you're devoid of actually freehold rights, you're devoid of everything. In fact, the matter is that the human race is built of white people, white persons. We are all white. Okay. However, because of dictionaries and the inquisitions and a number of other European tools, we've now just equated that white people is designated for a certain group. The Jews and some of these other persons, Jews and Indo-Europeans, according to the Free White Act, the Act in 1870, 1870 White Act. I believe it's 1870. I just know it's the White Act, an naturalization act that happened in the States, okay, in which they started deeming free white persons or free white peoples as Indo-Europeans and Jews. And then they state in the end of that the Caucasians or Aryans are not white people. It does not include them. Yet, the Caucasians and the Aryans, or persons calling themselves Aryans, have infiltrated themselves in, okay, and are utilizing that as a means of actually saying that they are white, when they themselves know that they are not white. Okay. However, when you're dealing with voodoo and trickery, you have there's a lot of power in that. And so persons are actually using that power. And again, this power is built off of consciousness, attentiveness. It's built and facilitated in that triangle that is formed right here, in between all of these things right here, because it's a triangle. Bam, 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 bam. And then the base comes out, and still set. There is an angle that is created. And at the top of this angle, it's a three-dimensional shape. Every individual has a three-dimensional triangle beaming out from the top of their heads. Okay? This is how we use to navigate. This is how we use to operate here. When these triangles come together, we have an agreed-upon experience. And this is reality for us, people. Alright? We all have this triangle on our heads. The issue is that someone is putting things into the triangle that are not so, or making us think more concreteness about this triangle when it actually shouldn't be. We need to realize that we can create whatever we want in this reality, and that nothing is written in stone except for what we choose to write in actual stone. However, if there is no stone slab with a particular act or a thing of life written down on it, then it does not exist. Okay? It is fostered here in the brain, in the mind. If it's fostered in the mind, then we have no choice but to actually roll with whatever it is that we're perceiving. So you can't let these individuals just sit here and feed thoughts into your brain. Alright? The iPod, the iTouch, the iScreens, all of these things like this, the eyes, they are doing this, and this is such because of the fact that I starts here. We are created here. Here first. This is where I will start, and this is where I will end. Okay? Now, it's up to you, the energy that you put out, it actually helps me become the being that I wish to become. And this is why all men are gods. God can only judge me because it is up to you for me to decide what I have done wrong here. And if you can't step up and say that, hey, you've wronged me or you've done something wrong, then you are not acting with nature, and you are not being God, and you are not being the person that you are supposed to be by standing up for yourself. This is the importance of attention. Because if you're not focused and not paying attention, you will be afraid, and you won't even know when someone is insulting you, or when someone is actually talking negative to you. And if you don't know these things, then you're not going to be in line with nature. And if you're not in line with nature, then basically you permit dis-ease or discomfort of the self. And having that dis-ease or discomfort of the self is actually the main point of this whole system. The whole thing behind what we're calling entertainment in Hollywood is the fact that I have you feeling like someone you are not. Some of you actually think that you're into hip-hop. Some of you actually think you're a dancer. Some of you actually think you can die. You can't die. Energy does not die. Okay? The laws of thermodynamics prevent such catastrophe. Hell, phenomenon, the life that phenomenon, the phenomenon that life is, prevents death. So if you believe in life, then you know that there is no such thing as death. Many thousands of years ago, we believed in life in so much that we knew there was no such thing as death. You couldn't hold a man's life over his head. Why? Because of the fact that deep down inside, this conscious being knew and understood that, hey, the only way you can make a slave out of me is if I choose to be a slave. But you cannot force me to do anything because I can leave here. But again, when someone is playing with our pyramids or playing with our triangles, okay, mixing them up, turning them around, twisting them in all, dealing in all kind of shapes and things like that, they have made a reality for us that suggests that we can't go anywhere and that we'll be punished if we choose not to live as slaves and die, okay, or kill ourselves, or if that's even such a thing. They consider suicide to be an epidemic, okay, in the health world, all right, because more and more suicides are actually popping up. It is an actual epidemic because it goes against everything capitalist, everything that helps create society, okay? So suicide and suicidal activity is going to be a problem in a place where I am actually putting pressure on the people to perform in ways that they normally would not. If everyone in the society is acting unnaturally and acting against their natural instincts, then why wouldn't I have large numbers of people actually trying to jump off of this light or this boat that is actually carrying us through these ethers? Okay? Why wouldn't I have people being afraid of actually becoming the navigators that they really are? We are meant to navigate these planes. Okay? That is the importance of your actual connection with the moon, is that this etheric plane is made of water. All this air and things like that, it's all filled with water. Okay? Hydrogen is the actual atom that is spoken of that gave rise to everything. Okay? It's this hydrogen atom that actually allows us to be the navigators that we are. That's why we have navels. Okay, people? The L's are the laws. Okay? And we're going to navigate through those laws. The laws of nature. We're going to navigate through the laws of nature with nature in mind. We're going to operate in accordance to nature. Okay? We're only going to act as though there only exists 9 digits or 9 numbers. Okay? That's it. 9. 1 through 9. 0 is a concept. It is not a number. It is a concept, people. Okay? That's it. It is not a number. However, we live in a reality in which someone is telling us that there is actually such a thing as the number 0, when there is not. There is not. There is only 1 through 9. That is it. Everything else are functions off of reality that we have chosen to actually create. Now, people say, well, how can you sit there and say, well, there's no number 0? And again, this is the pyramid. The pyramid. I can choose to believe in what I want to believe, and I guarantee I can live the same life as you, if not healthier. Okay? But it all boils back down to actually having control over one's own conscious self. If we do not have that control over our conscious self, we have not fulfilled our promise to what we're calling the higher self or the Creator. We are living against the will of the Creator, and it will show. The pimples busting out of your face, okay? That's not natural. Alright? It's not natural. Alright? Hemorrhaging from your vaginal area is not natural. Nor for a woman or a man. Okay? These are functions. Alright? These are functions that are a result of our behavior here. And it's up to us to actually be wise enough to take it there and understand that we are God. This is our triangle. It's created here and it comes outwards. Focus. 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 Thank you. And I'm out.
No more dreams, feed me reality till I explode. No more dreams, feed me no more dreams. No more dreams, poison my perfect picture. No more dreams, no more dreams. Sodomize my virgin outlook. No more dreams, no more dreams. Stretch my eyes out and let me feel my way to freedom. No more dreams, no more dreams. Sodomize my virgin outlook. No more dreams, no more dreams. Stretch my eyes out and let me feel my way to freedom. No more dreams, no more dreams, no more dreams, no more dreams, no more dreams. No more dreams, no more dreams, no more dreams, no more dreams. And I can go, wake up to what we know. Stretch out my eyes and let me find my own truth.